It just had to happen, didn't it? Out of the game for 100 days with a knee problem, Kevin Pietersen returned to the county setup and hit a scintillating 177 not out to help Surrey set up a contest on the last day of their LV County Championship match with Yorkshire in Leeds. Pietersen had been in the field for much of the first 2 days of this match, but it wasn't long before he was required on day 3. Resuming on the third morning on 53 for 1 in reply to Yorkshire's 433, his side lost their night watchman Tim Linley in the day's first over when he edged Ryan Sidebottom to Adam Lythe. Jack Brooks then celebrated his return from injury as Vikram Solanki took him on, only to miss time horribly to mid-wicket. He left with his side in some trouble on 62 for 3, and it would have been a good deal worse had Pietersen been given out here. Sidebottom was convinced that he'd caught the edge, and it certainly was very close. Away from the Pietersen watch for a moment, this game was still a very important one for both sides, and when a pumped-up Sidebottom did see a raised finger from the umpire after hitting Rory Burns on the pads, it was Championship leaders Yorkshire who were in a very good place. They now had Surrey on 76 for 4 in their initial pursuit of a total of 284 to avoid being asked to follow on, and on any other day, even without Stephen Patterson, who was nursing a broken toe after being hit whilst batting, Yorkshire would have felt confident of doing that. But that was without Pietersen. Once he settled in, he soon became the unstoppable force that we've come to expect over the years. He took on Adil Rashid, this being the first of his 7 sixes. Not that he did it all alone. Surrey may have been missing the injured Ricky Ponting, but Xander de Brain also looked good, as he also used the long handle against Rashid. Pietersen's first half-century arrived off 71 balls. Nothing so spectacular about that, although you have to remember that he was batting his side out of a hole as well. The way he sprinted for the first of these 2 runs to get him to his 50, there seemed to be no ill effect to his knee, even after 2 days of fielding. He tweeted that after fielding for 136 overs, "My knee feels top draw." So clearly was his shot making and timing. Now with his eye in, he started to produce the brilliant and at times extraordinary, treating this vaunted Yorkshire attack with disdain, especially when playing the ball at the top of its bounce. He dominated a match-changing 5th wicket stand of 97 with de Brain, who was out for 38 when he tried to match Pietersen on the pull, only to sky his shot off Brooks. He left with his side on 173 for 5, still 111 away from avoiding that follow-on. But unless Yorkshire could get shot of Pietersen, that was never going to be in the equation, and the England man showed no signs of either getting out nor playing defensively too often. He appears to have superhuman powers in the LV County Championship. In 4 matches for Surrey last season, he hit 2 50s and 2 hundreds, one of which was a phenomenal 234 not out against Lancashire in Guildford. By now, it looked as if the only way to get him out was for Yorkshire to use their own superpowers. Had Rashid taken this, he could have auditioned for the X-Men. The Yorkshire coach, Jason Gillespie, later described Pietersen as a lad in very good form. Rashid would have to agree with that, as he was chipped for another 6, which helped the batsman reach another astonishing century, which came as he easily turned Sidebottom's slower ball through mid-wicket. Pietersen's second 50 had occupied only 35 balls, which gave him his ton, the 48th of his first-class career, off 106 in total. He'd raced to 3 figures in a little over 2 hours after striking 12 fours and 2 sixes. If there was anyone doubting that Pietersen was ready to return to the England fold after such an injury layoff, they can perhaps think again. His batting mixed the sublime with the ridiculous at times. He swept Jack Leaning, a Yorkshire debutant who'd replaced Gary Ballance in this match, effortlessly for his 3rd maximum. Every one of Pietersen's teammates really just had to admire his skills. Back to the match situation, and with Stephen Davis, yes, he did have a batting partner, also playing very smartly, the almost forgotten follow-on was avoided, as this pair put on 118 runs for the 6th wicket in 22 overs. Before that stand was broken, Pietersen belted Rashid for a 6, which was probably worth about 10. But then Davis was out for 44 as he got a leading edge off Liam Plunkett to Brooks at 291 for 6. Peterson did have one life when dropped behind on 120, and he also nearly sold Gary Wilson a dummy. The Irishman surviving that to be able to add to Rishi's miserable day by joining in the six-hitting fun. The leg spinner must have wondered why, oh why, did Peterson have to choose this match to make his return. At one point, he was hit for 34 runs in the space of 14 balls as Peterson rattled past his 150 off 176. That was his fifth maximum to go with his other 16 fours. It looked as if he could bat until the next supermoon hits town. Wilson was out though next ball, holing out to Plunkett to give Lythe a wicket with the total on 329 for 6. Leaving it to Peterson to really tuck into a man with the skills of Sidebottom. 2 more sixes, that's numbers 6 and 7, came in the space of 4 deliveries to take the batsman on to 177, at which point Solanke declared, not bothering with a 5th batting point, but trying to open up this game instead. The declaration arrived at 353 for 7, with a deficit of 80. Nothing could quite follow that explosive knock, but Alex Lees and Lythe now had to concentrate on the job at hand. Solanke's hand had shown that Surrey are prepared to chase down a target on the last day, although what that should be and in how many overs will be a tough call for Andrew Gale, with Patterson missing and Peterson certainly not. The Yorkshire openers added 42 runs to their lead, before Lees padded up to Gary Keady, the ball spinning past the front leg to hit the back one. The batsman was out 20 minutes before the close for 13. And by that close, the total had advanced along to 52 for 1, which gives the home side a lead of 132. A win for them here could really help them at the top of the table, but how Gale negotiates from here is anyone's guess. Perhaps he should just suggest that Peterson bats left-handed. Just a thought.